Hello, I'm Simon Whistler, you're watching TopTenzNet, and in the video today we're looking at the top 10 unusual celebrity collections. Number 10. Rod Stewart, model trains.
Obviously, collecting toy trains isn't that crazy. Nevertheless, being Rod Stewart and collecting model trains does strike one as bizarre. Surely he should be entertaining supermodels and forcefully projecting raspy odes of affection about a girl named Maggie May. The thing is, Rod Stewart isn't alone when it comes to rock stars with less than rocking pastimes. Apparently, Ronnie Wood collects stamps, what a cliche, and although not a collection, Alice Cooper has long loved nothing more than a round of golf, a fact he kept hidden during the heights of his snake-based antics.
Number 9. Kiefer Sutherland, Gibson guitars.
The 24-star is an avid collector of Gibson guitars. At last count, his collection was around the 38 mark, which by anyone's standard is fairly excessive. They're all housed at the studio he set up to help encourage young people to get into music and start playing. Good work, Kiefer. His love for guitar was fueled by hearing the likes of Jimmy Page and Angus Young. Kiefer loves to play, but classes himself as a music appreciator rather than a musician. This didn't stop the famous guitar manufacturer from creating a signature Gibson in his honor. Seriously, Kiefer is up there with Robbie Krieger and Slash. If you fancy plucking his strings, then the model is called the Gibson Kiefer Sutherland KS336.
Number 8. Quentin Tarantino, TV show-themed board games.
As you'd expect, Tarantino's love of pop culture is present in his collecting habits. Only marginally less into board games than women's feet, you can't collect those, it clearly seemed like an obvious choice. In an interview, he showed off his collection that he keeps organized by genre. His favorites are Dawn of the Dead and Universe. The latter game, he claims, is the closest they ever came to an official 2001 A Space Odyssey game. He also has a Platoon game that, at the time of the interview, he was hoping to one day play with Oliver Stone. I have no idea if that ever happens, but the image of it is now set in my mind's eye. Increasingly, Tarantino also set out to collect retro lunchboxes, but gave up as they were too expensive.
Number 7. Reese Witherspoon, antique linen.
Reese is a Southern belle through and through, born and raised in New Orleans, Louisiana. Arguably, her hobby of collecting antique linen is somewhat in keeping with this background. She supplements this love with an additional fascination of intricate embroidery. She sounds like the perfect girly girl. That is until you remember the time that No, there's literally nothing bad about Reese Witherspoon.
Number 6. Brad Pitt, metal art.
Everyone's an art critic, even Brad Pitt. His particular speciality seems to be metal art, in particular functional metal art pieces. I'm not sure if this is what the rest of the world would refer to as garden furniture, but either way, Brad loves it. In fact, he's big on art in general, once turning up to a gallery in Basel, Switzerland to shell out the best part of $1 million on a rainbow-colored racetrack painting entitled Etape by Neo Roche.
Number 5. Nicole Kidman, Judean coins.
When not acting or playing Nintendo, another of her favorite pastimes, superstar and all-round Oscar darling Nicole Kidman likes to do a little collecting in the way of ancient Judean coins. There is a not inconsequential amount of Judean coins out there to collect, so presumably this keeps Nicole occupied manfully while she attempts to revisit and replicate the artistic and creative highs of her debut work as Judy in BMX Bandits.
Number 4. Tom Hanks, Typewriters.
So Tom, what you got there? About 200 portable manual typewriters? Oh yes, Tom Hanks likes little more than a mechanical keystroke. The worldwide promotional tour for the film Larry Crown meant leaving the collection at home, something he was clearly struggling with. Tom did the sensible thing and took his trusty Corona model with him. It is portable after all. Tom didn't stop there though. Throughout the tour he posted pictures showing what a swell time he and the Corona were having. For the most part, pieces of the collection are fully functional due to Tom's dedication to keeping them all in tip-top shape. His love stems from the permanent nature of anything that is produced on a manual typewriter. Believing a note written in this manner is like etching the sentiment in stone. Not quite right, Tom, but we get the idea.
Number 3. Angelina Jolie, knives.
According to obvious jokes about the things Angelina Jolie likes to collect, we'll get straight to the point, literally. Miss Jolie has a fine collection of knives. It doesn't really come as a surprise, does it? Especially after that whole vial of Billy Bob's blood episode. Her mother brought Angie her first knife when she was about 12 years old, and the collection started from there. If you doubt the interest Angelina has in the pointy and metallic, have a peep at her butterfly knife skills as demonstrated on primetime American TV. Slightly more disturbing is the fact she has already started her son Maddox down the same route. And even more disturbing, in a magazine interview, she claimed to have cut herself during sex as a teenager to heighten the pleasure of the experience. On second thought, collecting knives is probably one of the less unusual things Jolie spends her free time doing.
Number 2. Claudia Schiffer-Insects.
Building an expansive collection of creepy crawlies isn't the first hobby you'd associate with a global supermodel, is it? Well, you've clearly not met Claudia Schiffer. The German model turned designer can't get enough of bugs. Her home is adorned with images of insects, one of which is actually crafted from insect parts and hangs pride of place in her living room. Even her 2011 knitwear range was inspired by spiders, and she claims arachnids are her favorite muse when it comes to a bit of doodling.
Number 1. Johnny Depp. Well, what doesn't he collect?
Depp is a heroic collector. The unusual item that started the adventure down JD's rabbit hole of hoarding was a pigeon skeleton. This is at the extreme end of the bats and bugs he's so fond of. He even has a favorite bug shop that is located in Paris, France. I wonder if he's ever chatted to Claudia about wee beasties with more than 4 legs. Arguably more conventional is his collection of items owned by beat writer Jack Kerouac. These include not only interesting editions and manuscripts of Kerouac's work, but jackets, a raincoat, and a suitcase that belong to the author too. There is also his range of art and craft lamps that complement his collection of Art Deco furnishings. And Johnny also has a not insignificant collection of pictures featuring clowns, one of which was supposedly painted by the murderer John Wayne Gacy. It's creepy, but also somehow very Depp, which makes his unusual collecting just that much cooler than everyone else's.
So I really hope you found that video interesting. If you did, please do give us a thumbs up below, and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Also, check out some of our other videos over there on the right. One is the top 10 ridiculous things that rich people did, and below that we've got the top 10 shockingly rich celebrities and their net worth. So be sure to check those videos out, be sure to like and subscribe, and thank you for watching.